Hey everybody, welcome back to Idaho Fabricator. I'm Steven, and I did an upgrade on my Harbor Freight US General Series 2 26-inch toolbox. Check it out, guys. I added the side cabinet on. Now Harbor Freight says that it doesn't fit this, but it fits. I'm the Idaho Fabricator. I know how to make things work. So let me show you what you have to do to get this on if you want. And on the side of these boxes, when you get them, down low, they got holes on both sides, so you can put the box on either side of the cabinet that you want. Now you can't use these hole locations here because inside this tool cabinet is some structural pieces, and they're right about here. So what you have to do is move these holes in about 2 inches on each side. So I just put some tape on and measured over, marked it, and came up from the bottom. So they both be, both be the same. And then go ahead and drill the holes. I always like to use these step drill bits for sheet metal. They do a much better job than a standard twist drill. And drill your holes. These things are going to come with, I think it's 8mm bolts. They're about 1 inch long. Now if you don't have some nuts for it, that's okay, because 8mm is really close to 5/16, so they need to be about 1 inch long. Go ahead and drill your holes. Hang your box. Reach underneath and mark your tool cart where the holes are. Take your box off, drill your holes. You're going to have to remove the lower drawer, which is really easy. If you, in fact, let me just show you really quick. On the side of these boxes, there's these little plastic tabs. And one side you push down and the other side you lift up. And then the drawer just slides right out. Then you can go ahead and bolt your box on, and you just added more storage, more tools. Let me show you what I've kind of rearranged my box. I've added more tools. Let me show you what I've got going on. So on the top, I just keep my most used stuff, all my die grinders. This is pretty cool. If you haven't seen this, check this out. It's made by Leslie, I believe. They call it a water pump gasket remover tool, and it uses the same roll-lock discs. And what's cool is sometimes you just can't get in with the regular angle grinder. So you put this guy in, and then you can hold it here to steady it, and you can really get it into tight places. I like this a lot. I use it quite a bit. So it's like 14 bucks. It's cheap. So that's a pretty cool little deal. Check that out, guys. So I got 2 angle grinders, a couple of die grinders. Let's see, what else? Some gloves. I just keep the stuff I use a lot on top. I added this little magnetic thing from Harbor Freight. I keep my cutting fluid, my oil for my air tools, a couple of screwdrivers, and I noticed something that's really weird. This is the same size as a beer bottle. It's weird. I know. Anyway. Also on top, I got my 3/8 drive Tecton sockets. I've been rolling with these for this set for about a year now, and it's really nice stuff. 92 tooth ratchet, extensions. You got deep and shallow in standard and metric. There's no missed sizes. The metric goes from 8 to 19 and 5/16 to 3/4 on standard. Nice set. I can take it in the house if I got to fix the washer or the dryer, or help somebody out on their truck or car off the road. It was like $45. It's pretty cheap, and it's good quality. I mean, the stuff fits really nice on here. The chrome is nice. The embossing for reading is really good. These are good things, guys. I usually like to buy USA, but this is made in Taiwan, and they do a nice job. In fact, I like this so much. I got to show you what I bought. Check this out. This is like the Mondo socket set. It's so heavy, they had to put latches on the sides. Oh yeah, check that out. 1/2-inch drive, 90-tooth ratchet. Really cool. Shallow and deep, standard and metric. The standard goes from 3/8 all the way to 1 15/16, and the metric goes from 10 millimeter all the way to 32 millimeter. No missed sizes. Got a breaker bar, a couple of, I think just 2 extensions. That's a nice set. I got this when I got my tractor because, gosh, everything on that thing is ginormous, so you need big sockets and a little bit of extra torque power. So plus I can take it with me. I did have to help a friend of mine out, and he didn't have quite the extensive set of metric sockets. We were working on the front end of his import car, and this came in really handy. So I like Tecton. It's good stuff. Check it out. All right, let's get back to the box. Let me show you what I did on the top drawer. These are all my files. Gosh, there's just an assortment of files. I use them a lot. I like, a lot of times when I'm fabbing up stuff, I like to sneak up on it, you know, like hand file it and get it just right. Sometimes you can just hog it out with this, but sometimes it's nice to just, you know, just take your time and have it turn out really nice. So files are really handy. Here I've got all of my assortment of sanding discs and sanding drums, cut-off wheels. For that, I've also got a little fishing tackle box filled with abrasive rolls. I got tapered abrasive rolls, different mandrels, carbide bits. You know, handy to have that stuff. This is all of my sanding belts, grinding wheels, different grits. I think I go from 40 all the way to 120. These are pretty cool. If you haven't seen these before, they're made, well, I get them at Harbor Freight. And polycarbide, what it does is it removes the mill scale on your, when you're doing your mild steel stuff, and allows you to get a much better weld when you're building stuff. So I tried these out just to see if they work, and they work really good. So it's a nice alternative to take the mill scale off. So next time you're in Harbor Freight, check those out. My body and fender tools, I got an assortment of those. I don't have, there's like a million kinds of hammers you can get, but I just have a basic amount of tools. Some of these tools I've made myself. This tool here I made specifically for one job. And inside the cab here, there's another, there's an inner panel. And I had just a giant, like baseball size dent in the top of this cab. And so I made this, I smoothed this out, just used a hand file and made it a nice round shape. It fits up behind there, and then I was able to push on the center of it and hammer the perimeter, and about 30 minutes later, boop, it just popped out. So don't be afraid to make your own tools. Pretty handy. This stuff in here is just more of the same, just pipe for hammering around shapes and different rounded stuff that I made. So just a, you know, a small assortment, but it's enough to get the job done for you. Some more hammers, plastic, rubber, little brass hammer, some Summit Racing. I'm trying these out. They're pretty good. I like them. Made in the USA too, so that's cool. This guy here is like, probably don't see many of these hammers anymore. This is for taking hubcaps off of, back when cars had hubcaps. And you would put this underneath the hubcap or the trim ring and then pop it off. And then when you put it on, you'd use the rubber part to tap it on there.
So, gosh, I've had this for a long time, 30 years or so. And I just keep it around because it's kind of cool. Let's go in this drawer here, taps and dies. Everything to do with tapping and dyeing, different types of tap wrenches. These are very handy here. These are thread chasers. That's the SAE set. It's coarse and fine. And then I have the same thing in metric. And a lot of times you just need to clean the threads up, take some burrs off, and this is what you want to use. They work really good. And this is the most common metric sizes. And so yeah, check that out. Now I've got an old Sears tap and die set, and then another Sears metric set. So pretty much everything you need. Here's my corded drills. Love these guys. Every once in a while you need to get a corded drill. This is a really nice drill. It's made by Makita, and it's very shallow, so you can get into tight places. I like it. It works good. And it has a neat little LED light on it, so it's kind of fun. Down here, my pneumatic rivet gun, all kinds of rivets, a manual rivet gun, more rivets underneath there. I use these fishing tackle boxes. It's a nice tip if you looking for something to store your little stuff in. Those work really good. This is like one of my first drills I bought, Sears Craftsman. I bought this, I think it was 1972. I was in high school, and it still works. Every once in a while, you need those old tools. All right, so let me show what I put in my addition here. On the top drawer, I have my measuring stuff. A couple of dial calipers, some levels, sliding squares, different kinds of, I actually use this ruler a lot. And it's got a hook on it. So you can hook it on something and come to the edge. It's pretty handy. And just an assortment, machinist squares. This is one of those, I think it's a General. I think General's the one that makes this. Anyway, it's a nice protractor for finding angles, figuring out your angles. Deburring tools, razor blades. This is a pin vise. Sometimes you want to hold something really small. It's very simple. You can hold it really small while you're filing on it or grinding it in the grinder. Pretty handy. Let's go down to another drawer. These are my fabrication magnets, you know, nice for doing little tabs. You can turn the magnetism on and turn it off. And it's really nice because you can get it close. And then these things are surprisingly strong. I mean, this thing here is like, it's like 130 pounds of force. It's brutal. And the other thing about turning these off and on is when you turn it off, all the little metal whiskers fall off. So that's pretty cool. Oopsie. I can't get it off there. There. These are called vid pads. These fit on my clamps. One of the clamp round parts fits on there like that. And these are for clamping round things, irregular stuff. Very handy. And let's go down another drawer. Just some sheet metal tools. Oh, I bought one of these. I'm going to show you this. It's a flanging tool. It has a little step here. And you put your sheet metal panel in it, and then you squeeze it, and then move down and squeeze it, move down and squeeze it. And I was thinking that I wanted to flange some panels when I was putting the floor in my truck, but I decided that a butt joint was better. And these are like, they work, but they're really slow, so I wouldn't bother with them, guys. hole punches, right? I got the hammered kind. These are the ones you just hammer down into. Handy for making your own gaskets or whatever you need to cut a hole in. You can actually, if you've got a piece of rubber that you want to use for an insulator, these will chop right through it and make a nice clean hole. I've tried to drill rubber with a drill bit and it just doesn't work. This is a sheet metal punch. You've got all these different mandrels and punches for different sizes. And it'll punch a really nice clean hole in 18, 20 gauge, even 16 gauge if you got some muscle power. And that way you can take your patch panel, punch a bunch of holes in it like here, punch a bunch of holes in it, and then when you put the panel up behind you can just fill in the holes and it gives it that factory appearance. So let's go down one more drawer. This is my Makita Power File. Pretty nice tool. It's just a belt sander on handheld little belt sander. Nice for getting into those tight spots. And lastly down here is just stuff for cutting tubing benders. It's a flaring tool for doing AN fittings. This is a bender. I tried it a long time ago, and you slip your tubing on it. But I just kind of keep it around because it's kind of nostalgic, but I don't use it. Now that I have these kinds of benders here, they just do a much better job and a lot easier. And that is my US General cart with my modification on the side. I think it turned out really nice. So if you got one of these guys and you want to get some more space, you can even put one on the other side. So get a lot of space. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate your subscriptions and your likes and shares and the comments. I enjoy them and I try and answer them, all of them. So keep those coming. Thanks for watching. Be safe in your shop. I'll see you next time at Idaho Fabricator.